Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining again to another edition of Black Game Pro Sessions, the platform where we highlight the amazing people working in our industry, and hopefully through that inspire the next generation to, you know, to join, but also to see that you're not alone. That there's people out there that are doing amazing things in our industry that you can look at, that you can contact and reach out to, and hopefully be inspired by. Now, April for Black Game Pro Sessions is all about one thing: turning voice into power. Not just being heard, but shaping rooms, narratives, and ultimately outcomes. Today's guest represents something our industry still doesn't fully understand, and honestly, hasn't fully made space for yet. Chris Robinson, also known as DeafGamersTV, or DeafGamers TV, if I'm doing it well, is a deaf Black gamer and accessibility advocate from Chicago who's not just participating in gaming culture, he's actively reshaping it. From consulting with studios like Insomniac, Ubisoft, and Santa Monica Studio to bring ASL commentary to live events like Frosty Faustings, Chris is building bridges between the deaf community and the gaming world. One feature, one conversation, one moment at a time. And one of the things that I respected the most is that this isn't just about access. It's about dignity. It's about making sure people aren't just allowed into the room, but can fully experience what's happening inside of it. Also, we talk a lot about player first in the industry, but Chris is one of the few people actually holding us accountable on what it really means. So, Chris, welcome to Black Game Pro Sessions. Flow Zoom. That was the most epic intro. Hey, Chris. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, good sir.
I'm happy to be here. I'm very excited for this conversation. So I'm really happy.
Thank you for your time. Quick shout out to Jessica, who's in the chat. She already responded. Hi, Jessica.
Hey.
No, I really appreciate you being here, good sir. I appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you a little bit better. Because just for the people watching, we've met in person once. That's one finger. When we were doing Ubisoft Forward in LA in 2024. I remember I don't know why I was hanging outside, and I saw these two guys hanging outside, hanging out front, the first people waiting in line to join our press conference. And that was Chris and his partner from DeafGamersTV. And oh, shit, here we are. So I'm happy to finally have a conversation with you, good sir.
Yeah, it's that's really funny too, because me and my friend, we arrived there really early because we were expecting a long line, but yeah, we arrived there first. I'm pretty happy about that because we were happy we don't have to wait in the line for hours just to get inside. So it was really nice for that, and it was really nice to take care of us. Waited because we had to wait maybe another hour or two until we could finally get inside. So Leon, he took care of us, gave us water when we need one. It was really good. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's the least I can do. I mean, I saw some. First of all, I saw some people, melanated people. I was like, oh, yeah, come on in. And on top of that, you guys have this great energy, and the least I could do is just spend some time with you guys and make sure that you guys have the best experience possible.
Mm-hmm. It was at the end of the day, it was the best day ever. It was so good. I went home, thinking back, oh my god, I'm so happy. I came to LA for this. I almost did not go. I thought maybe I might be too busy or whatever. And then a lot of my friends were oh man, this is really cool, an idea and everything. You'll see your people that you work with you know what? Let me just inform my job. I won't be here for a few days, so cover for me, please. And I'll be back in a few days. And then I flew to LA, the LA air, oh, it's good to be back here. And I, just can't wait, wait for, the announcement about this game, Assassin's Creed Shadow. Oh, it was, yeah, it was the best.
I appreciate you, good sir. I appreciate you. But you know, this session is not so much about you going to the experiences that me and my team built, but it's really about getting to know you a little bit better. So I wanted to start with a simple but not per se easy question. So the question is, what does gaming feel like when the world wasn't really built with you in mind?
Oh, so let me back up a little bit. So the first time I played a game, I was like 3 years old. The first game was like Super Mario Brothers 3. So I was playing that. I'm the only deaf person in my family, so communication wasn't really there in the beginning. So we have to like my parent, they learn a little bit of sign like eat, bathroom, milk, that kind of stuff. So so I saw my brother playing Mario, and when he got done with it, and I saw the controller there, the game was still on. I walk over there, pick up the controller, play the game myself. I was really, having a fantastic time playing the game. I didn't know what I was doing, but I still had fun playing the game. Like, oh, I'm the guy in the red clothes and everything. So like jumping around, stepping on turtles and everything. Like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then it was amazing. And then I began that day. So when did it like game become a little bit difficult for me was when they added like voice acting in the game. So where they have voice in the game but no subtitle, and it was very hard for me to try to enjoy the game because I didn't really understand what was happening in the cutscene or whatever story was happening in the game. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of hard to get through this. Like that's why I never played a game like Resident Evil 2 that was on PS1. There was a lot of games on the PS1 that didn't have subtitle until I found Metal Gear Solid on PS1. That was one of my. I thought it was a horror game at first, but it was not. But it was one of the games I really enjoyed the most. Like the voice acting, the subtitles to help me understand what was happening. The gameplay was awesome. The story, beautiful, sad, and everything. So ever since that time, I'm thinking like, okay, game might get better now because like there are subtitles in the game. But later some games are starting to miss out with the subtitles, and maybe some of the other feature that you thought would be in the game because of that time. There was a lot of games that kind of went backward, in terms of accessibility. Because when you think accessibility, you want the game to be playable for as many as possible. So me being deaf, I don't always use my hearing aid when I play the game because where you're hearing aid for a long time, your ears start to sweat a little bit and feel like the initial turtle doing the willy in your ear and whatever. So I try to like get comfortable as much as I can when I play something because when I play something, it tends to be really long. But when I play something that's not very accessible to me, and there's like a lot of barrier in the game that I don't really want to have to like deal with it. Like I just want to play the game, have fun or whatever. But those are barrier that kind of made the gameplay a lot shorter for me. I'm like, I'm not happy with this. I want to do something with this, but at that time I didn't know how I can like do something about it. So then later, fast forward a few years later, played something on what was it, PS3 probably, and there was a game, I forget what it was. No subtitle. There was a lot of voice in the game, but no subtitle. You go in there on the option, the setting, you try to look for the subtitle, they don't have it. So I'm like, oh, this is not right. This how like we're still making this kind of mistake. Like do people not realize that not everyone in the world can hear or even see or move whatever? And I think that's where like accessibility was not really discussed that much. Like even though you watch TV, there's always caption on TV. Like when you turn it on, most of the time it's always caption on the TV, and you're thinking like, okay, perfect. I have no problem now. Like you go, in a public place like a bar or whatever. I was over 18, just so you know, or over 18, over 21, whatever. So I get in the bar and I see TV, I see TV, and I see sports playing. They have caption on. I'm like, okay, perfect. So that was something I realized. Like, okay, so if caption my accessibility that I need to understand what's going on TV, then sound is other people's accessibility to understand what's happening on the TV. So I start to realize something. I'm like, okay, yeah, this can't go on like this, because there are many people in the world with disability, they're probably sitting in the in the shadow because they feel like they're not being heard when we ask for accommodation, because many times we ask for accommodation, we're often ignored about that, or maybe not discuss about it at all. So that's why I started to realize, like, yeah, this is not right. So we have to change this. So at that time I was going through a different hard time, and I was going through depression. I wanted to do something with that. So me and my best friend Zero, the cook, I was discussing with him, like, I want to do something. I want to do something different, because I've been streaming on before Twitch changed the name. Before they would call it Justin.tv. So I was streaming on there. Like that was like 2008 or something like that. I was still in college. So it was something I wanted to try, because I was watching Man versus Game, like very much off just watching playing game. Like, oh, this is really enjoyable, just watching people playing games, and then you feel like I want to try that too, for the deaf community, something like that. So I've been streaming, going on there, on and off, because college, you have to focus, keep your grades up and everything. So I did that. So I took a break, and I came back, and then I was already going through depression, so I want to do something different. So I would discuss with my friend Zero again. I told him, like, I want to do something related with gaming and stuff. Like at first the goal was to be like the first partner on Twitch, but I burned out from that. I got tired from trying that. It's a lot of work. So I decided to shift my goal to talk about accessibility, talk about awareness through gaming, because many people ask me in the chat, like, how do you understand what's happening in the game? How do you play this without enjoying the music in the game? It's things like that. Like, oh, you know what? Those are a pretty good question, because not a lot of people know how we, the deaf people, live in this world, because a lot of people don't expect to bump to me, a deaf person like we did in LA. So it was really, something that kind of add fire to my project that I want to do some of this. So came up with the name DeafGamersTV, and the purpose for that was to show that deaf people, we're here in this world. We're living with you guys. We're like in the society with you guys. You maybe not realize that, because many time a person would call out someone, and they would think that we're ignoring them. We're not. We're just deaf. So we'll have to like visually get our attention. You get like tap on your shoulder or wave, or something like that. So I thought it was like a good idea to start spread deaf awareness, because being on the internet is probably the best way doing that. With Twitter, I'll never call it X, never. But Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all these social media is like a perfect place to do your work there, and people can see it anytime they want to. They don't have to like be there when you're live. You can like just watch the VOD, read about it, article, whatever, stuff like that. So after that goal ship, everything changed for me. I remember I got invited to GDC, and it was another conference called
So sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Because how did you get invited for something like GDC? How did that happen? They just found you because you did the stream, or did you reach out to them? How did that go?
Okay, so first let me give a shout out to Tara, who's before working the Xbox at that time. She saw that I was talking about accessibility. She saw that my whole purpose was to spread awareness about accessibility. So she's like, "Oh, I want to invite you to something we're started up called Gaming Accessibility Conference." So that was set up what was like 2019 or something like that, and I started DeafGamersTV 2014. So wow, so that's a long time.
Yeah,
that's
man,
a long time. Wow. So Tara reached out saying like, "You know what? You should do a panel." And I'm thinking, a panel? Where? Like, you know what? Do it at our game accessibility conference. I'm like, sure, why not? And then she flew me to LA. I'm like, LA? Like everything was still new to me. Like I was not familiar with these kind of opportunities, stuff like that. I'm like, wait a minute, LA, GDC, gaming accessibility conference. Whoa, what is this? What is this right now? So, fast forward again. We got there at LA. Got inside the building, see my name on like one of those the banner things, like Deaf Gamer TV. Can I keep that when we're done? Like, oh yeah, sure. So by the end of the event, everything breaking down, packing things. So he's like, hey, Chris, here you go. Like, are you serious? Oh, well. So somehow I had to bring that on the plane with me somehow. So set it aside. It was very cool to see that. So during the panel, it was also with myself and two other creator as well, or advocate as well, not only a creator. So we were talking about why are we struggling playing games right now. So we've talked about like different things about like from subtitles to representation to different reasons for that. So we were just explaining, and then when I finished my part, and then the panel was done, I had a few game developers come up to me like, oh wow, like your talk's like really good. We want to work with you. And that person, the first person, guess who it was? It was David from Ubisoft, and there was a yeah, so it was David. I miss you, man. Oh my goodness. Like, thank you for for that opportunity a long time ago. Thank you. So if you're watching this, thank you. I love you.
I think he registered for the session, David T.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was really happy about that. Like everything changed so much. And then I had Naughty Dog as well. I was like, yeah, we would love to contact you in the future someday. So they gave me their business card, content and everything. And then I told Zero, my best friend, like show him the card, like, is this real? Like, so what he did was it was pretty funny. It's like, okay. So you asked if this was real. Did that feel real? Yeah, it does. But, okay, it's real. So yeah, me and we were roommates in college, so it was awesome for doing something funny like that. So I was really happy about that. So everything. Oh my God! There you go, right there.
Yes, he's here.
Oh, David! Thank you. So me and my other friend, going through that weekend, LA, enjoying the view, enjoying the different opportunity that we had during that time. It was just like meeting different people, meeting different people with different disability, advocate for whatever they're advocating for, the blind community, the cognitive community, everything. It's like, oh wow, this is like very new, and I started picking up a few different things. Like, okay, Devin's not the only one who have a lot of the gaming barrier or a real life barrier, stuff like that. So it was really important, for me to try to absorb as much as I can.
Mhm.
And it was really amazing. So after that, a few maybe like 1 years later, I worked on my first game. uh well, now I can say it. So that game was a Far Cry New Dawn, and we was introducing the directional caption, and it was
Mhm.
really cool because like it shows like where the sound coming from. Because like me as a deaf gamer, and I'm like, I can see the explosion, but trying to hear the explosion, but can't tell where it's coming from. Like,
Yeah.
people can tell which, it's side because the headphones telling them which side it's coming from. So how I do that, I don't. So that's why seeing that kind of feature, it was a huge change for me. It was a huge step for me to believe that we can bring gamers and people with disability together without feeling like they're stuck at
Mhm.
that roadblock because they feel like they can't do nothing about it. But that's not true. It's just harder, really. Because we have like so many people, especially elitists, this try hard gamers, just like who asked for this? No one want this feature. No one need this feature. Like, we did.
Mhm.
Like every time we asked for it, every time. So it's
So
really nice to see the change.
it's a good segue to a next question, because you said something powerful in this chat already, but also in some of your streams. You say that the barriers you face are not your fault, and I agree with you. So let me ask you directly: where is the industry, the gaming industry, still getting it wrong today?
Unfortunately, yes, but not all of them are doing wrong. Some of them are actually taking the time to find different consultant with different disability. They're asking a question like, so what kind of barriers yeah, what kind of barriers you face and everything. How did you overcome it if you did, or what made it impossible to overcome it? So how can they help? So you have this conversation trying to help them understand our disability, because realistically, is it possible to try to copy a disability for for a few months compared to people who live with disability for their whole life? So it's really different trying to compare everything. So these developers, they're asking, trying to understand how they can help, what they can do to help and everything. So that's something that was very important to anyone in the world. So it's really important to try to like spread that knowledge of what those developers are trying to do. And it's really important to let people know that we can speak up. We just need like a platform to do that, like right now. And it was really important to share that information, because for the developer or some of the game that going backward on accessibility or different feature, that's a really big red flag. And it's really important to somehow you know trying to remind them, and remind different community that you will not get anywhere being angry, just screaming at different developers saying, hey, fix your game, this broken, stuff like that. That's not the best way to do it. I mean, we're allowed to be upset. Yes, we are.
Yes, you are.
We're it's okay to express, but if you're trying to have like a mature conversation, trying to help change for the better, you have to like approach, share your feelings, share your your what make you upset, not like in a very angry way. I mean, like,
And constructive.
yeah, yeah, like don't treat game developer like police, and we're gonna like screw the police, stuff like that. Don't do that. We can do better than that. We're better. We're better than that. So
Mhm.
what I did was I kept speaking up about it. I kept trying to reach out, like, hi, I'm Chris. I'm a deaf gamer. I'm trying to play your game, but your subtitle is small as hell. Like, I can't read this, this little tiny subtitle. And I was just playing this game, this beta actually. It was called I can't spell that word, but it's like invisible version. So it's a fighting game, and they have subtitles. Like, oh, cool, subtitles there. But when you turn it on, it's so small. Like, oh my god, not again, not again.
So okay. So let's say that I'm a game director or producer watching you speak on Black Game Pro Sessions right now. What are 2 or 3 things that I can do tomorrow that would immediately make my game more accessible?
Okay, so just look at other games that people praise for their accessibility. It's not really silly if you're trying to, like, I mean, there's no silly from trying to get different game feature in your game, because like most of the game pretty much all have the same thing in their games. Like, we have option for gameplay difficulty, audios, video, different stuff like that. Controller remapping, subtitle. My god, like, if you're worried about, like, oh, I don't want to steal from this game subtitle style, do it. I need it because you're trying to help your gamer, to enjoy the game more. Compared to trying to enjoy, well, force themselves to enjoy the game. So, look at other games, see what people are, saying about their accessibility, praising about it. Like, The Last of Us, Part 1, Part 2, God of War, Ragnarok. There are many different games are, doing well. Like, you have Spider-Man 2. You have all these Assassin's Creed games. They just keep improving. There are a few, mishaps, but they're still improving more there. Making mistakes. So that's something that's really nice to see and would be very helpful.
I mean, so sorry to interrupt you again. Sorry, but you mentioned Spider-Man, and you also, and I know in some interviews or some of your streams, you mentioned how powerful it is to see characters like Haley Cooper in Spider-Man.
Yes.
So what did that moment mean to you personally, and why does that kind of representation matter, just beyond just inclusion, the marketing term of inclusion?
Yeah, so definitely. So right now, we see a lot of representation in TV, in movie and stuff like that. But what about the games? We don't really often see different disability representation in the game that much at all. I mean, yeah, you see like blind character, you see wheelchair, but I don't really often see a deaf person in the game. So some game they maybe have like a little peak, or a glimpse at something that that may represent the deaf culture, like showing sign language, showing different things like a hearing aid that you can add on your character, stuff like that. But I want to see a full depth on representation in the game. So I was contacted by Spider-Man studio. So they told me they want me to come in to consult on something. I'm going like, oh my god, wait, hold on, is this real again? Like, are you asking me to come in to consult on one of my favorite hero Spider-Man game? So I get in there, So they pretty much just want to make sure the ASL, the sign language in the game, was good. And it, oh my god. So when Spider-Man 2 came out, so I usually try to save my surprises until I play it myself, right? So
Of course.
my friend on social media is like, "Oh my god, Chris, you see that? Dude, it's a deaf character in the game. Like, oh, did you see what happened? Like, wait, like, hold on. I just finished work again. I haven't had a chance to sit in, breathe for a minute and everything. So everybody's like, oh my god, I have to tell you, like, you have to, okay, fine. Let me turn on my PS5 and I'll get into it myself. So I got to that part where everyone was excited about. And I met Haley Cooper in the game, and my whole world just stopped right there. It felt like a JoJo moment. Like everything just stopped, and
Wow.
I'm seeing the signing with like the hand movement, everything. It's like real life, and I'm thinking like, I'm not in the game, right? I'm still a person, right? So you seen the moment you see Miles signing to like Spider-Man no sign language? What the and you're thinking like, oh wow, that's like really surprising because oh my god. This is like one of my wish list things to see, a full dev representation in the game. And there was another game, but I won't go into that one because oh my goodness, that game kind of made me a little bit too upset. But I don't want to put pour gasoline on it and then set it on fire. So
Let's not do that then. Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah. So it was nice to see that. Like I actually cried like when I was filming my stream and and I was thinking about trying to like recap my stream and everything. I'm going to back to my BOD just to watch that part again. It's just seeing the sound language and everything. I felt like, oh, like I got really heavy inside, like with happiness, really. Not nothing depression or sad about what I saw in the game. I was just like really happy that happened because like I was asking for that for so long. Like I'm 38 right now, and it took 30. Well, maybe not 38, but the game came out like 2 years ago. So I was like, what, 36 at that time? To 36 years to bro, finally.
And that's why it's so important the work that you do. It's easy for people that don't have a disability to forget. I mean, how important it is to see that actual representation and inclusion matters. It's not a marketing term. It's not a marketing term. No, it's something that really matters. And it's being able to see yourself in characters in game to show like, yeah, you're not alone. You think indeed it's normal. It's not, it should be normal. And I think that's why it's super important what you're doing. And I'm happy that you're doing that. So please keep on doing that because we need to put an even bigger spotlight on making sure that the games that we produce as an industry are for everybody.
Yeah, that's very true because it means so much to me, to see myself in the game that how other people see themselves in other media, and I've always long time just hoped to see that happen someday before when nature takes some its role, you get old or whatever, or that kind of things. So it's really nice. Happy to see that not happening, and I hope I see that again someday.
I'm sure you will, and I think you should, on top of feeling happy, you can feel proud. That's something that you worked on, that you did. The thing is, I mean, you already said it. A lot of people, they can complain and like act like the industry is the police, F the police, that kind of stuff. But you actually made a step. You made an effort for the last 14 years, dude, to make this happen, and you should be proud. You should be proud, really.
I'm very proud. I'm still like shocked about everything, like how everything changed for the past 14 years. Like there was a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of quiet moments. It's it's really crazy. Like it's really wow.
I mean, I mean, life has its ups and downs, and I mean, you mentioned that you've been going through a darker period recently. So, what I was wondering about, without going too deep, if you don't want to, what helped you keep on going? Because it's you're working on the same project for 14 years, and indeed taking until 2 years ago until seeing like an actual accountable result of your work. How do you keep yourself motivated, except these wonderful casts of you in the background?
Yeah, so I have Luffy in the background. Yes, the name is from One Piece. Yes, so he actually responds to the name pretty well. So like, well, if he's not deep sleeping, like Luffy. Yeah, he's sleeping. But anyway, so how I keep myself motivated? To be honest with you, keep the good people surround you, because someday, when the light goes out for you, you'll feel like you're alone. You have no one to go to. That's your mind try to trick you, and it's not true. So, honestly, I wish I took this advice myself, because I'm the one who, advised that kind of thing. I told people, like, keep yourself around good people. They will be the one who will, lift you up when you might need it. For being, it was a really heavy journey for me, because I almost gave up the whole DeafGamersTV stuff, like almost half years ago. Everything went really bad for me. It was really heavy, and I was so close to just giving up on my passion, my my passion for gaming, my passion for spreading deaf awareness, that kind of thing. Trying to spread a safe space as well, because I thought that I was failing myself, because you say all this nice thing to help people, but it's more harder trying to accept those advice for yourself, because you feel like you have no problem, you feel like you have no issue, and you won't take accountability for your mistake, stuff like that. So I think that's the biggest problem, is not accepting your mistake. There's a lot of ego that might prevent you from doing that. So me, I started a therapy back in December, and I recently just discovered a lot of things that I did not thought that was actually true. So realizing that I now have ADHD. I have PTSD, CPTSD, a little bit of autism. I did not even realize that, because like there are many different things I've done that not make me realize. Like I grew up, biting my nails, bite part of my skin on my fingers, and that's obviously a symptom that's showing that you might have something related with mental health. So a lot of time I try to avoid that kind of stuff, because I did not know how to approach that with myself. So I did not know how to communicate with that inner feeling. I did not understand the word unheal. I didn't know what that meant at first. Like I thought, you scratch yourself and you wait for this to heal. I thought, you mean that, but you're talking about internally, your heart, your mind. If it's not heal, you made me struggle. A lot of times. So it's really important to be aware of yourself, and that's why many people say self-care. Take care of yourself. Take a break when you need it. Honestly, I was so stubborn with all of that. I thought, okay, I'm a guy. I can handle this, excuse my language, but bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's just talk that people in movie will say that a lot.
Yeah, it's like real men don't cry.
Exactly. Oh my god, yeah. That I was taught not to cry. growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I was taught not to cry. Like you always hear people say, "Stop crying." Enough of that, So you growing up suppressing crying or expressing stuff. So my inner child was actually stuck inside of me, in the very dark place inside of me, and I did not realize none of that. And then when I started to realize, my favorite band is Linkin Park. So I, I kept listening to a few of their songs, and there's some of the songs I never heard of. I'm like, oh, that's what the song "Heavy" from Linkin Park was singing about. And like a few times I listen, and read the lyrics, and you start to put it together to make it make sense. Like, oh, and then like the world stop. You start to realize I let my inner child in the corner by himself for most of my life, because I never tried to attend to him. Like, hey, young Chris, you okay? You doing okay? You all right? And everything. I never did that, and that was one of the things that I was very upset myself with, because I didn't realize sometimes you need to get in touch with your inner child to fully unlock your potential.
Amen.
Because if you watch Dragon Ball Z, DBC, Dragon Ball Z, oh my god, you probably know the theme of that anime by now. It's like they're always talking about supporting each other. They're always talking about if you want something, you have to get it. You have to go there. And then again, I named him Luffy from the anime One Piece, and I found him outside my apartment. So that was like 3 or 4 years ago. So I found him outside, and I picked him up. He was so happy, that someone found him. He did the tail wagging. That means he's like very, very happy that someone found him. So I kind of used that as a metaphor with my inner child. So I found him. He was happy. So if I find my inner child, wish I still have it, but I'm still working on that. So I'm going through therapy. I'm going through, a different activity, trying to find myself the best way I can, with the help of my friend, with the help of video games. Like, game story can really help out a lot, because like my first time the game helped me during my dark time, that was in high school. That game was Kingdom Hearts, and that was on the PS2.
Wow! Yes.
Yeah.
Great game. Great.
That game taught me how important friendship was, like, and how important to not let your light go out in the darkness.
Oh, yeah.
Your light can boom. It's just beat the darkness. You should have to believe in it. Let your friends support you. Don't try to try to block everyone away, because that's what I did, and that was my biggest mistake. So
it's not a mistake, bro. It's normal. I think when you go through depression, and I think a lot of us have been through depressions, it's normal to to shield yourself from the world, from your friends, from your loved ones, because everything is too much. And sometimes even their positive, uplifting words are like, I don't want to hear that right now. I just want to sulk in whatever I'm feeling. And that's also perfectly fine. But yeah, I agree, is that you need, the fact that you vocalized and reached out and looked for help. That's already, dude, that's one of the biggest steps towards healing. Because, and I'm gonna quote Gordon Bellamy's words again. It's a multiplayer game. You can go this far when you're alone, but if you're together with help, with your friends, with your family, you can go so much further. And I think it's great that you realize that, dude. It's sure, you can do a lot by yourself, but everybody needs some help every now and then.
Yeah, definitely. Like, take it from a Batman. Like, he always thought,
the wise words of Batman
by himself, right? and then finally, they made the Justice League, and he worked with Superman, Wonder Woman. He see that he could do more with the help, with his peer. So that's something that was like a good way to visually see that without words. Like if you watch Batman without sound at all, and you see all the action he do, he lost his parent. He wanted to change that negativity to something that would help other people. So he pretty much became a hero. Even though he don't think that we're a hero, but still other people view him as a hero. So then there was many times Batman got stuck and he can't do something. So he took the time, he realized he can't do it by himself. He had to ask for help. So he did. And then, him and his team, they became more stronger than he was by himself. So it's really, important to realize that, like, doing stuff by yourself, that's okay. But don't force yourself, to keep going, when you already realize that you already passed the finish line. And, it's time to, bring in help to, bring you more further down. So it's really important to remember that. And that's how I stay with what I'm doing. Luffy is still ignoring me because he's watching the bird outside. That's okay. But yeah, he's my, that's my Robin right there.
Yeah.
And my nice me, yeah.
So basically, I should call you the Batman of Deaf Gamers from now on. You are Batman.
I am.
You are him.
Deafman.
Oh yeah, Deafman.
And they're gonna make it right there. There's a Nightwing right there. But this is the kind of the thing I'm talking about. Like when you push yourself with people who make you laugh, believe me, that will bring you a long way. At first I did not believe it, but now I do because
it's so important.
Yeah,
man. So let's say we are fast forwarding 30 years in the future. You're going to be 68 at that time.
Oh yeah.
And you're writing your biography about your life, about your work at Deaf Gamers. What would be the first sentence that you write in that book about your life, looking back? Yeah.
So I would say back in my day, we did not have accessibility until we had to beg for it. So after a lot of begging, a lot of people will notice you, and then they will finally work with you and help you out. Talk with different people with disability advocate, developers, all of that. Boy, Mickey, why you turn on my light? You just messed up the whole thing. I got a light remote over there, so he probably stepped on it. So anyway, yeah, that would probably be the first thing I would say is back in my day, we had to ask for help a lot. But even though the help is here now, don't stop. Just continue in case other community or society never saw this. So just keep asking for help, as much as you can, and then let other people find you again. And it's really important to let people know that what you're trying to do and how you're trying to help not only yourself but the different community. Because for me, I'm trying to help the deaf and hard here gaming community to be able to enjoy something that I was able to. So I want them to laugh, enjoy, than being angry, being very visually upset about it. I like again, it's okay to be upset. It's okay, but it's probably no easy way to say this. But try not to lash in on developers. Like they're just developers. Like whatever they decide, there's always a higher who have the last say. Only them will say yes and no. So no matter if we ask for specific accessibility feature, whatever, it goes through them.
Mhm.
And then so it's really important, even if you feel like it won't happen, do it anyway. That was my first thought, that it won't happen. But what you have to lose? What you have to
Exactly.
lose? So you should, give it a try, see what happens, and then get your word out, throw it out, let people who, oh wow, that's true. I have to share that information with someone else who maybe can benefit for that information to help other people. So that's what happened, and so it's really important. You know, don't stop talking, don't stop speaking up. Continue till your last breath. Unless 30 years later you figured out how to make your own robot. Well, teach your robot to do the same thing. Just don't change that robot to a Terminator. We don't need that. So it's just
I mean, every now and then, everybody can use a Terminator every now and then.
yeah.
Some people,
That's
But-
true. That's true.
But okay, so what would, let's say, a young deaf black gamer say in 10, 20, 30 years, looking back at the content or all the things that Deaf Gamers TV created? How do you want him or her to view what you did? What would they say?
Oh my goodness! You know what? That actually happened before. I actually met a young fan, and I never thought of that. And I'm like, well, how do you know me? And like he's like, oh, his mom told him about me, so he was watching me for a few time, and then I was always making him laugh because like I'm doing something silly like this, that kind of thing, or when my cat appeared or whatever. I was really shocked because like I never thought I would have that kind of interaction
Impact.
like
Yeah.
that. So this word kind of stuck in my head. Like I want to be like you. So I'll be honest. I got scared when you said that because like in my head I'm thinking like, oh no, I went through a lot because like in the front, it seemed like happy flower rainbows and all that. But behind the scene is kind of different. It's a little bit darker.
Oh yeah.
So I told him, I said, I'm sorry, but I kind of stole this quote from another game called Shenmue. So the moment it happened in the beginning. So I'm just gonna without explaining what happened during that scene, I'll just say the word. He said, keep friends those you love close to you. And whoa, I'm sorry, but
It's okay.
so that game was on the Dreamcast when that came out. So you probably played that during the 2000s, back then. So when that word being said, I didn't understand what that mean at first because I didn't understand what loss was.
Mhm.
I never really experienced that kind of feeling before until recently. So, friends, keep friends, those you love close to you. So I told him that quote. I told him, make sure you do good because I told him whatever good you do will be passed on to other people. Then when someone do good to you, that means it will pass on to you. So like keep passing on the good that you want share with people. So I told him that, said whatever you enjoy in life, be happy with it. If you're happy with it, share it with your friend. But if you meet people who are very mean to you about it, a lot of times people will say ignore that, but trying to build a thick skin is not always possible. So
No.
I told him, you know what? If someone be mean to you, It's okay. You can cry about it. Because when people see why you're crying, they will ask you what's wrong. You can explain what's wrong, and people will see you. And then good people will find you, because when good people find you, you maybe build a very strong friendship that will they may last for a lifetime or a long time, if not. So it's really important for any young generation to believe that, and try to understand that, because I was in elementary school and I was bullied on a lot because I was not able to hear well. I was in a mainstream school, meaning a deaf student with hearing student. So I've always had bullying on me, try to tell me something. I'm always say what they made fun of that, making fun of me, saying what like what and, it. Oh, that was like really a bad time for me, and was really upsetting, because a lot of time you feel like, okay, I'm gonna copy Dragon Ball Z again. I'm just gonna go super school and then just start screaming, whatever, just to make yourself feel empowered. And for some reason, it kind of helped. But don't try to get trouble in school. It's not worth it. It's not. Believe me, I mean, I got suspended, so it.
Well, and look at you now. You're still here. The suspension, whatever the hell. Honestly, Chris, I think that one of the reasons why you have fans that look up to you, even though you don't see it yourself, or you don't, don't be like me. It's what you exude during your streams and during this conversation as well. It's like you're a balanced person. Nobody's always happy. Nobody's always helping them. Some people are always sad, but I think that the reason why he probably wanted to be like you is because he saw what you did. He saw what you built. He saw what you were trying to do. And it's like seeing yourself in the mirror. And I think that's what he saw. And I think, a lot of people, when they see these streams, we would also not be here just being like, just crying for an hour, which could also be fun for sometimes. But I think, you show the best of yourself. And I think that's what resonates with the people. They see the best version of Chris. They see the best version of DeafGamersTV. And that's what resonates. And that's why they're like, this dude, Batman. It's simple, but it's true, dude. It's like, don't underestimate the impact that you have. And that's the thing. It's also a reason why I started this platform. I don't do it for the millions of viewers. We don't have millions. It's not about that. But if this story, for example, your story, if it impacts one person that is watching today, that's already enough, man. It's already enough. And I think that's the thing that you're doing as well. Baby steps eventually lead to something. Even though sometimes it takes 12 years.
That's true. Like, I mean, like, I will, let everyone know that, no one has, a very easy life. And, I will say this, with confidence. I will say no one with 100%, resolve, saying that no one have, a perfect life. We maybe say, oh, this person is perfect. That's okay. That makes you feel, proud of something, that you feel that you found something that feel perfect to you. But again, nothing is perfect. It can feel perfect, but nothing is perfect, and that's okay too, because that should motivate you to be the best version of yourself, and to groove the best version of whatever you want to do. It's really important to whatever knowledge you maybe have, share that with others. If someone feel like you're a know-it-all, that's okay.
Whatever. Yeah.
Because you're speaking from your experience. You're not speaking from what you read about. You're speaking from what happened to you, and you want to share that experience so that people know that this is what I experienced firsthand, and it's right in front of you. So it's really important to be very considerate. Like, oh my god, I don't know how many times I had to say that. Like, being considerate. But I will admit that one of my mistakes was I was not considerate, most of the time, and I wanted to change that. I want to be, while I'm still alive, I want to be the best, the person I can be. I want, like, for whatever reason I pass away or whatever, I want people, say good things. I want people to tell other people why, I was someone they look up to. I want them to, explain to other people, like, oh yeah, the late Chris, he did this, and it's really deep, and it's really wow. So that's something I want to leave, behind, when I go, someday, and it's really important.
And I think, I mean, and tying into that, I mean, David said it quite well indeed. You definitely impacted his career 8 years. You probably didn't even know that, Chris. You impacted his career. He wouldn't be there without your support on socials when they released Assassin's Creed Origins with slightly better subtitles, and it gave him the energy to keep on pushing. So that's the thing. It's like, you never know, Chris. You never know the work that you do, how that can impact people that you might even look up to and be like, oh shit, I inspired Ubisoft. Pardon my French. And that's why it's so important to keep on pushing. And that's why it's so important to also provide a platform for you, like we're doing right here. It's like it's important. So I wanted to, because I'm also going to be conscious about your time, I want to thank you for sharing your story, for being vulnerable. I think a lot of times, especially within the Black community, it's almost frowned upon. Like, oh, you cannot be vulnerable. It's like, no, especially as a man, you need to be tough. Nah, fuck that. With all due respect, pardon my French, but it's nah, man. We're all human beings. We all have feelings, and I think the fact that you are comfortable enough with sharing that, not just here, but also in your streams on Twitch, dude, that's
definitely.
Keep it up, please. Don't stop.
Thank
Never
you,
stop.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Little thing, you want to say hi now?
Now she's just judging me. She's judging me from afar. Story of my life. I'm being judged. No, but I mean, normally I think there would be a lot of questions in the chat. I think a lot of people are just listening to your story today, and I think your story is super valuable. For the people watching that want to reach out to you, Chris, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
You can reach out to me on Instagram at DeafGamersTV. You can probably see my name right there. So it's the same that with the ad on it. You can also reach out to me on Twitter as well, but I lost my my main account, so I have to make a new one. So it's DeafGamersTV _ to find me on Twitter. You can watch my stream. I'm always active in the chat. I love talking in the chat. I don't speak on my stream though, because I want to make sure many people can feel they can participate if they're deaf or not. So I always make sure I get talk in the chat. So watch me there. Yeah.
I appreciate you, good sir. Really, I appreciate you. And also, I know it's not about you, Kaborski, but I appreciate you too. Just for the record, for the people
I've been working with
know.
the interpret for so long that I didn't even realize it already been past 6 year, 8 year probably. It's like, oh my god. So
no, but I mean, for the record, Chris. I mean, you were on my radar already. I wanted to interview you, but then I was chatting with Kaborski on LinkedIn DM, and she was like, "No, you need to interview Chris." And here you are.
That's my twin. Okay, my twin.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay. So I think on that note, I think I will release you back into the world to create amazing content for everybody, including deaf people, of course. And like I said, I'm gonna call you Batman from now on. Batman. Dun dun dun.
I need
Thank you very much.
The light. Thank you all, and thank you to the audio that joined us today. I really appreciate you coming today. I honestly did not expect many people to show up. I didn't expect that, so I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much.
Cool. And if people have any questions for Chris and they don't know how to find him, send a message to me and I will make sure to forward it to Chris. And if you're ever looking for an amazing ASL interpreter, Kaborski. Yeah, right. I mean, here for me. Alrighty, thank you very much. And this was Black Game Pro Sessions. Next week we will be back with Lee Williams from Blizzard and talking about archiving the amazing content that they do as well. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week.